Listen to me. If there was a wise man who would ever think of this, they would say in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. For I am the man himself.
Two tonight. I brought a Coke, and also not as much caffeine. Also brought a Sprite as well. I'm ready to go tonight, and I'm clean shaved as well from last night. Got Tyler and the live show already, guys. What is going on? This is the Club of the Man, 1993, and yes, for the first time since April, I am here live to talk about Monday Night Raw. And again, I usually don't do Raw or SmackDown reviews live anymore. Again, it's just my schedule is just so crazy, and even me being here tonight, right now, live at 11:30 at night, a night after I only got like 4 hours of sleep last night, is already kind of risky for me. Because I know that at some point I could get tired and I could start losing my train of thought. Which is why, of course, I grabbed my Coke. I got my caffeine. So I'm going to try to get through this. Because not only that, I am also, after I'm done here, I'm trying to put the finishing touches on my Bash in Berlin card-in predictions. Which was actually pretty tough. Because to be honest, it's getting harder to do these card predictions, especially knowing that Triple H only does 5 or 6 matches. And there's so many storylines being set up and so many matches you could possibly do. So I threw together a card with 7 matches, including a pre-show match. Because it seems like anytime they go overseas, they seem to have a pre-show match. Sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So again, it is going to be interesting for sure. But again, I'm doing Raw live this week. I really, really loved this week's episode of Raw. To me, I feel like it probably would have been just like an A-level show. But with how the show ended, that main event match, the in-ring debut of the Wyatt 6. When we get to that, and I talk about that, when I saw that, I was, and how amazing that in-ring debut was, I just sat there and I went, best Raw I have probably seen in a long time. And that's saying something for how much WWE has improved since Triple H took over in 2022. I gotta say, I felt this may have been his best episode of Raw. I loved this episode. We had so much great fallout from SummerSlam. Some setups for Bash in Berlin. Yes, some people came over, opposite brands in the brand split. We'll discuss that as well. It's one of those shows that I feel like I'm always going to remember. And again, like I said, it not only did it hit on some points and set up Bash in Berlin pretty good, but again, that ending was very touching, in my opinion. I couldn't help myself and just think, this is one of the best things I've seen as a wrestling fan. It was just one of those matches, one of those moments that made me appreciate it even more. We'll talk about it more, of course, when we get to it, when I get to the main event. But I'm not going to waste you guys' time. I want to check the live chat. I want to see who's here. And we're going to, of course, also just stay powerful and chunk through this very well. Also, again, as you see also, my social media pages are back. Again, I've been saying this, of course, for a few weeks. I did bring back my Twitter and Instagram pages. Again, they're new accounts, but under the original names that they were before. So if you do not follow me yet, make sure you guys follow me on any of the social media platforms below that you have, whether it's TikTok, Twitter, or Instagram. Again, Twitter is the Club of the Man 93 because I can't fit all the characters. But Instagram and TikTok is all the Club of the Man 1993. So make sure, if I don't follow you guys there right now, I know there's some of you that I did follow before but I can't find right now, make sure you guys follow me. So that way I can, of course, produce my best content for sure. But anyways, let's check the live chat and see what we got here. And we're going to get rolling here. Because guys, again, I am tired, but I'm going to do my best to put on a very quality review for you guys. We do have Tyler here. We also have Wrestling News 365. I hope SmackDown lives up to the hype as well. We will see. Again, as I keep saying, SmackDown's not horrible. SmackDown just has a lot more talent that they're still finding their footing again. They haven't figured out like several talents on Raw have. And there's a lot of storylines on Raw. Honestly, it's kind of a thing where it's like, I like that Raw is 3 hours because there's just so much to look forward to. Let's see here. What the hell, way to make Seth look by getting beat up? What the hell? Oh, I loved what they did with Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed. We'll get to that shortly as well. And is Orton on Raw now? No, he is not. We'll talk about that in a second as well. Again, there were a couple SmackDown stars that appeared on the show, but I get why they were there. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Wrestling 365. It would be nice if Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest took the tag titles from JD and Finn Balor. Ooh, a mixed tag team with the tag titles? Interesting, for sure. I do feel like that they're going to, at some point, probably give it to Sammy and Jay. I feel like they're doing that tag team storyline with Sammy and Jay because when they do get to War Games, I think they are going to want Sammy to be with the original Bloodline team, which that would be something to have him and Roman. I mean, the Usos is one thing, but Sami Zayn, like the first person that was in the original Bloodline, to stand up to Roman, that would be something to see him come full circle and be on his team again for Survivor Series. And again, it could happen because the men's match is usually 5-on-5. And they could bring in Hikuleo for the other team. I know some people mentioned Cody Rhodes being on the Bloodlines team. You never know. It could be very lopsided. Well, the original Bloodline. But I still want it to be The Rock. So that way, that'd be the segment where The Rock turns on Cody to set up the main event match for WrestleMania. Raw was insane on Monday night, yes. Lucha Bros are supposed to become the WWE. Yes, I have heard that Lucha Bros are not interested in re-signing with AEW. It could become WWE. If that happens, please give me Rey Fenix and Rey Mysterio. Please give me that match. Heck, I'll even say if that is Rey Mysterio's retirement match, by all means do that. If he ever could come back, I would say Rey Mysterio and Kalisto. But I feel like right now, the more likelihood is Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix. If the Lucha Bros do in fact come to WWE, that would be awesome. Let me see here. And we can see Ricky Starks WWE. Yes, I'm pretty sure Ricky Starks, once his contract expires, he's getting out of AEW and getting to WWE for sure. And, we got Robbie Wakanobi in the live chat saying, Mikey! Hey, buddy, early predictions for the Women's War Games match. Team Rhea versus Team Liv. They could do that, yes. I'm pretty sure the men's going to be some cross-branding, of course. So, they could do Team Rhea versus Team Liv. Although, who knows? To be honest, if it wasn't for the Bloodline, I kind of wouldn't mind seeing like a mixed War Games match with like the New Judgment Day. Because they have Finn, JD, Dom, Liv, and Carlito get Damian and Rhea in there, and 3 others. You never know who it could be. Probably Jay and Sammy, and I guess Braun Strowman. He's had recent issues with the Judgment Day. That's not quite as strong, I don't think. But that would be, that would be interesting, doing like a mixed War Games match with some men and women in the match, which would be pretty cool for sure. I do, though, think at some point they need to do an intergender match, though, with Dom and Rhea. That would be something, I think, that actually could, I think, get pulled off, I think. Randy Orton, Grayson Waller, and Austin Theory from SmackDown on Raw this week. Wild card rule is back. Nah, like I said, I understand, and they even addressed that apparently it looks that from what Adam Pearce is saying, him and Nick Aldis kind of made a deal about them being on the show. So we could maybe see some type of a Raw feud. I'll give you a spoiler. I didn't really find anything to predict for that for my Bash in Berlin card. But again, we'll address it in a second. And then, Tyler, how did Orton get a world title shot? He just asked and don't have Randy win the belt. He's not winning the belt, but again, the reason why is because of what happened with the King of the Ring finals. So again, I get why they're doing the match. I'm cool with it. New Day is now dead. New Day actually may have gotten some new life to them, in my opinion. We'll talk about that when we get to that in a second. When is WWE going to utilize Shinsuke Nakamura? I have no idea. I gotta be honest. I feel like Shinsuke could be leaving. Because they're not using him. And again, I appreciate the new character he's developed. I still feel like they should have capitalized on him last fall and given him the world title. And they haven't, and he's just been like that heel who is giving the main event stars some wins. And ever since he got drafted back to SmackDown after the draft, he's been nowhere to be found. Other than I think he was on the Japanese tour house shows recently. So I don't know shit. I've started to lose the faith that they're ever going to push Shinsuke Nakamura. I would love for him to be what he was in NXT again, but I don't think it's happening. Do we get Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes versus Jacob Fatu and Sol Sikoa at Bash in Berlin? A lot of people are predicting that. I actually did not predict that. I actually still think there is a chance of a possible triple threat. Because I just don't see Roman Reigns coming back, and although he's a face, him just not worrying about getting his title back. I feel like he would want to get it, but I feel like Solo's going to still be involved as well. So I'm thinking they may do the triple threat. Either at Bash in Berlin or Bad Blood. Spoiler alert, it is on my card for Bash in Berlin as the opening match, but I'm not sure. And I haven't heard any... Has anybody heard any updates on Jacob Fatu? Because he did get injured on that splash at SummerSlam, which I hope he's okay. Let me see here. Who joins Rhea and Damian to take down the new Judgment Day? Like I said, probably Jay, maybe Sammy, and like I said, maybe Braun Strowman? I don't know. Someone like that. Who do you predict may be on Team Rhea and Team Liv? Should that be Women's War Games match? That is tough. You could maybe do like a mix from some Raw and SmackDown stars. I would say, well, if Becky Lynch does come back, which let me briefly address that. So on Sunday, Becky Lynch, after her A&E, whichever it was, WWE Legends documentary posted, she posted some Instagram post and said something like, being the man was an honor. And reading it, yes, I can get why people thought she retired. But I feel like I'm not fully convinced she's retired. There's no other sources that's confirming she is in fact retired. If she does retire, though, then, all power to her. Because, again, she can still do this and she'll do it well. But I don't feel like if she retired, She's got nothing else to prove. I mean, I think the only thing I can think of she didn't do was she never won Money in the Bank. But, you know, if she did retire, awesome. I'm not convinced she's retired. I think she's just taking a long-term break. But then again, also, she is currently not under contract with WWE. So she's technically not obligated to tell WWE she is retired, as far as I know. But a lot of people do believe she wouldn't just do it over a social media post, which I think that's the case. But I think we would probably see, they would probably have to pull some people like Becky and Bianca. I would say Lyra is probably going to be in there as well, since they're giving her, you know, decent amount of TV time. Who else? I guess maybe Zelina, because she has some beef with Liv right now as well. You could do her. For Liv's team, probably Sonya, Deville, and maybe her crew. I guess maybe Kiana James, since she is on Raw. Or heck, who knows? One of them could pull in Nikki Cross, because she is Abigail the Witch. There's still not a lot right now, but I mean, Liv could always also grab the tag champions in there as well. And heck, if you wanted to get SmackDown stars in there, I definitely see Naomi. They would probably throw Jade in there, if I'm being honest. I'm giving too many names, I know, but just a few to throw around. I have to sit down and probably think more about it. But that's a good question, Robbie. Who is Odyssey Jones? I don't know Odyssey Jones super well, but I know right when I stopped watching NXT, wasn't he in the 2021 Breakout Star Tour, or was it the year before? Because I thought, yeah, it's gotta be 2021's. Because wasn't he the runner-up to Carmelo Hayes? And then Carmelo Hayes cashed in his opportunity on, I think it was Swerve, to get the North American title. I think Odyssey Jones was the runner-up that year. Because, yeah, he was drafted to Raw last year, and they've done absolutely nothing with him. But now they're actually about to do something with him, and I like first off, I got a good impression of him in the ring. He looks like he is very agile, for sure. Like, if Keith Lee comes back when his contract expires, give me him and Keith Lee. I can see them having a great match based off of what he did there. And I think it's finally creating some buzz on the New Day. Why does Odyssey Jones look like Mark Henry? I don't know. He does, though. Who helped Roman? I can't see because the thing's blocking it off. Roman Reigns stopped the bloodline. Now, like I said, I think it's going to be him mending his bonds with his cousins and Sammy. And again, maybe The Rock. Maybe Cody. We'll just have to wait and see. But alright. I'm feeling good so far, guys. I'm going to get rolling here. We're going to talk about this episode of Raw. So like I said, I thought that, again, for real, thought this was one of the best Raws I've personally ever seen. I enjoyed it that much. Like I said, if it wasn't for that ending, maybe just an A, because there was a couple things that I'm like, this is great, but like I needed that one thing that just made me think of, I'm never going to forget this show. And it was definitely that ending. But of course, we'll have to get to that last. But we will talk about it eventually. So WWE Raw was on Sci-Fi once again this week, as because of the Olympics. But next week they should be back on USA next week. And of course, it's almost time where SmackDown moves from Fox to USA. Raw, I can't remember who's Raw's temporary home going to be until January when they move to Netflix. And then soon also NXT moves to the CW. So it's almost time for those new TV deals to go into effect. But let's roll. Monday Night Raw was live from Baltimore, Maryland. And the crowd, I thought, made the show even more memorable because it was hot. Hot crowd. And Oh boy. Well, first off, I'm sorry. I said a couple things in the live chat I just got to mention. Well, first, Wrestling News 365 says Keith Lee is rumored to come back to WWE as well. I think he should. Yes, please. He was not... I mean, I know he had some injuries. I still get concerned because of his health. But I feel like Triple H would not waste any time making him a main eventer if he brought him back to WWE. That's one name that I still don't get them releasing. Of course, before he got released, can't forget he was the Bearcat. And Robbie. Oh, Robbie. So, for those who watched my live reactions, I had my one nephew, who I'm referring to him as Usi, as he wanted to be referred to on the streams. He played Joe Hendry's song to death this past weekend when he was over. And so much so that I've had the song stuck in my head while at work all day, this whole week, and I can't get it out of my head. I gotta kind of download it at some point. But Robbie says, say, the man and he appears, I believe in Mikey. I believe in Mikey. You know, again, I don't know Joe Hendry super duper well. I know he's like super over right now, though. With his theme song, it made me think, wouldn't it be cool to have a feud with him and Bo Dallas as Believe? That'd be interesting. But yes, Xavier Woods turn on Kofi now. He may. Keith Lee's AEW run was a letdown. Again, it kind of has been. Like I said, I know he's been dealing with injuries, so I don't know if that's done anything, because if not, they've hit it well. Like I said, though, I've definitely been concerned because of his health, but we'll see. Again, I do think he comes back to WWE. And if Brock Lesnar can clean his name, or if he is coming back, please give me Keith Lee versus Brock Lesnar. Please. Let me see here. Do I believe in Joe Hendry? Like I said, I don't know him super well, but I think so. Speaking of Joe Hendry, Mike, could you see a potential WrestleMania 41 match between him and Drew McIntyre? Maybe. Both former TNA stars. Well, Drew McIntyre as well. I don't know if they have much history, but sure. I'm also saying that either way, I think he should be in the Rumble, Joe Hendry. I don't think he would win it, but he should be a surprise entrant. And also, Wrestling News 365 says, I think Joe Hendry should feud with John Cena in his retirement run. Maybe. I'm willing to give that a shot. But, yeah, let me for real, though, get going. I'm sorry, I saw the Robbie changing the words to the Joe Hendry song to have to do with me, so I'm like, I gotta mention that now before I, lose some energy. Excuse me. But we're going to roll in now. Let's talk about Raw. Okay. So after the recap of SummerSlam, first we see the lovely couple of Ripley, Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan backstage. And as well as Damian Priest, obviously hunting Finn Balor in the Judgment Day. As Judgment Day may have signed a death wish at SummerSlam. Especially Dominic Mysterio. Oh man, is that boy toast. I mean, so is Finn. So is the rest of Judgment Day. But Dominic especially. I would definitely, if I were him, lock his windows, shut the shades, make sure, well, maybe go into hiding somewhere, because Rhea knows where he is. She's going to track him down, and, oh man. He asked for it big time. He took the risk on the blonde bombshell over the dangerous mummy. So yes. Oh boy. We then open up with Ludwig Kaiser returning. He's in the ring, and he had a match with Sheamus, which was actually a really good match. Great chemistry between the two of them. Again, it's definitely clear that, again, I like how... Well, first off, I'm still not a fan that they split up Imperium and are doing nothing with Giovanni Vinci. I still think they should have had at least 1 or 2 runs with the tag titles first, if I'm being honest. I don't know why they didn't put the belts on them. Well, then again, probably would have, but Vince briefly got back involved, and you know how that went. But I do like now that although they're still together, they still kind of give both Gunther and Kaiser their own space. Because Ludwig is, like, on the verge of breaking out as a single star. And his 2 matches with Sheamus, oh man, do they beat the crap out of each other. They got excellent, excellent chemistry. It might not be long until, of course, he gets a shot at the Intercontinental title maybe as well. I don't know if they ever will still do that Fatal 4-Way. I still think the original plan before Ludwig got hurt was a Fatal 4-Way at Money in the Bank. But again, Ludwig got hurt, so that's why they had Sami and Bron twice. But I may be getting ahead of myself. But anyways, before the match, there was a promo where Ludwig introduced Gunther as our new World Heavyweight Champion. Gets in the ring, does his usual spew, tells us just to watch and see what he does as World Heavyweight Champion. Because in this ring, he is about everyone here. He's ready and prepared for everyone and everything. And nothing can catch him off guard. His greatness is persified. And crazy enough, I read somewhere today that Gunther in his time spent, I think they like counted how many days in total he's been champion between his NXT United Kingdom title reign, his Intercontinental title reign, and now the first couple days of his World Heavyweight Championship reign. He has been champion for 76% of the time in WWE right now, which I think is incredible. And again, well-deserved, for sure. And of course, this is where the first of the SmackDown stars appeared. But Randy Orton then came out. Surprised all of us. And Gunther admits he was in fact caught off guard. Randy says he wanted to come out and congratulate, but that's not really his style. He claims, though, the title on Gunther's shoulders may look good on him as well. Orton can't help but think the only reason Gunther has that title in the first place is because of Randy. They go back again to what happened at King of the Ring. And again, how although the decision was final, Gunther didn't technically have Randy's shoulders on the mat. And they talk it over. And Gunther does agree. It bothers him a little too. So they agreed to have another match with the title on the line at Bash in Berlin. Which they're trying to compare to the modern day Ric Flair and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I mean, they could put on a pretty darn good match. I thought their King of the Ring match was pretty strong, good. I thought it was a really good match there. So again, yes, it's a Raw versus SmackDown guy, but again, I get why they're doing it. There is unfinished business. Adam Pearce did say Nick Aldis did do a couple of favors, and I guess they're doing something in return. So at least they're trying to make sense with it. I'll get that. So I can live with this, and of course the tag match later on, because I understand why it happened. So I can forgive this. So that's probably going to be our main event, Gunther and Randy Orton for the World Heavyweight Championship. Awesome. Again, as I expected, Gunther the main event, Bash in Berlin for sure. Anyways, and then of course they had something afterwards where, Gunther tells Randy that you can't catch me off guard, and then Randy goes, "Oh, I want you to see a Cutman or whatnot," trying to get each other's heads. Again, we did have the match with Ludwig and Sheamus. I already talked about that. I believe Pete Dunne did try getting involved, but he didn't. But didn't work out there. We also got another Wyatt 6 VHS tape, which built around first talking about the debut of the original Wyatt family 11 years earlier, around the same time in Baltimore, which of course led to Bray Wyatt's first main roster match being him versus Kane in the Ring of Fire match. And I think there was a shot of Joe Gacy as well. It wasn't much different than Nikki Cross. All those VHS tapes have been good, but I wish they would have done just a little bit more were Nikki Cross and Joe Gacy, especially Joe Gacy, because I didn't watch NXT much. I know this like creepy persona is kind of more so like something that he seems to be interested in. So I get why he's in the Wyatt 6, but I wish they would have at least allowed like someone like me who doesn't watch NXT anymore to somewhat get to know him a little bit more through some sort of a promo. But just a nitpick there. We of course also had a video package covering Roman Reigns' return at SummerSlam, and he will be live at SmackDown tomorrow night. Which again, what he's going to do, I don't know if he will wrestle at Bash in Berlin, or he may hold off till Crown Jewel maybe not till Survivor Series, who knows. But I'm sure if he's going to have a storyline where he's trying to mend his original bloodline with the Usos and Sami Zayn, and again, maybe The Rock as well, I'm sure he's going to be around a little bit more to tell that story before War Games at Survivor Series. Then we got Damian Priest storming out. Which also, by the way, if he's not going to be part of Judgment Day, can we please give it back his Infamy theme song? I mean, the one he has now is fine. I just still love his old one. Da, 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 da. Even like the remix version they had with the Judgment Day with it before they gave him this new one he has now. I would accept that. But like, can we go back to those? Those were those two ones were a lot cooler. But anyways, my mouse went the opposite way. Anyways, he comes out and he calls out Finn Balor. He says he hears and he sees what he means to people, and he realized his family got a whole lot bigger, as he claims he realized that he had us, and we're all bigger than the Judgment Day. And he then calls out Finn, but then Finn comes up on the Tron. And, first, Damian said he's not upset about the title. He can win that back, but he's pissed that Balor took it from not just him, from all of us. And made him feel that he's disappointed his new family. And he can't let that stand. So he calls out Finn, but of course Finn doesn't come out. Instead, he appears on the Tron and tells Priest that he brought this all on himself. He betrayed Judgment Day. They were supposed to have each other's backs with no leaders, but Priest changed that. He mentions how last year he almost won the title at Money in the Bank in SummerSlam, and he accused, of course, Priest of costing him that. And he claims the only advice Priest could give him after those matches was they needed to man up. And Finn just waited and waited and waited and waited until it was the right time to screw Damian and his now new family, as he calls it. He's just a loser from the streets, and Balor isn't going to fight him. But JD will tonight, because he's earned it and he deserves it. Finn, though, he'll wait until Priest feels safe and comfortable, and has almost forgotten about him. And when his back is turned, he'll stab him in the back again and again and again, like he did at SummerSlam. And then he shows that he's got everybody else still by his side, JD and Carlito, Dominic and Liv, who are just hanging all over each other and kissing each other the whole time. And then they move to the frame and embrace, being considered the new Judgment Day, free of both Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley. And Priest just bolts out of there to go find Finn to get his hands on him, but Finn's going to play cat and mouse. I'm thinking, well, originally I thought they were going to do Jey Uso and Rhea Ripley in a mixed tag match versus Dominic and Liv. I think, though, I could see them maybe holding off a little bit on till maybe Bad Blood for Finn and Damian. Maybe they'll hold off till then. But I do think the mixed tag will be Dom and Liv versus Rhea and Damian. Because I thought maybe they would have Rhea team with Jay. But again, Jay seems very... Jay and Sammy seem like they're going to start feuding for the tag titles against Finn and JD maybe. We'll see. But I already do like this fresher Judgment Day. Because again, it's a group that feels like they get more results together. Like I said, I don't know if it's because, again, they had to alter the plans for Judgment Day whenever they pulled Edge out of it. But I just still feel like that it dragged on too long. And plus, too, like I said, why did it still exist after Edge won the feud? But this kind of like resets it, gives it a fresh feel. Has it a little bit more interesting than it was before. So I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes with Judgment Day. Pat McAfee does a telestration breakdown of the water spitting with Michael Cole and Triple H at the SummerSlam kickoff show. While that's going on, Bronson Pierce will have Adam Pearce and tells them if he's going to get to the top, he's clearly going to have to follow his own path because he's tired of not getting opportunities. What he does, we'll have to find out later. Definitely, though, probably one of the lower points of the match. Lyra Valkyria took on Shayna Baszler, and the match just ends by DQ. No rhyme or reason. It's just Lyra was about to beat Shayna, and then Zoey and Sonya just got and started beating down. And then Damage Control came out to make the save, because originally it was advertised for Dakota Kai and Sonya Deville to have a match. Is Damage Control really babyfaces? I haven't done a turn alert because, like I said, they have really done nothing to transition to a babyface role, if I'm being honest. Nothing really at all. Like, if it is indeed a face turn, or if they're just the pseudo babyfaces, and once they stop feuding with Zoey, Shayna, and Sonya, maybe they'll go back to being heels. Like, I gotta see something that just feels like they're distinguishing them. Because, them as a face just feels so random. It makes no sense right now to me, if I'm being honest. And later, Dakota was supposed to have a match with Sonya, but then backstage, they beat down Dakota and injured her leg. Which always gives me vibes of, like, I wish it would have been Dakota Kai being the one to take the title off of Shayna Baszler. I mean, okay, that was Rhea, but there's still a story there, and I just want to see Shayna fully get her comeuppance from that debut when Shayna injured her in NXT. I still want to see her get her revenge and be one eventually to dethrone Shayna Baszler a title. But of course, as always, we will see. We get a final Testament promo talking about how the Doomsday Clock will strike tonight as they plan to put an end to the New Day when it's Authors of Pain versus Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods. We also have Ivy Nile, who has not turned heel yet. I think she will soon. I was chatting with the Creed brothers when Maxine rolls up to ask, what did you do hanging out with the Creed brothers, as they're not the same as they were before. Chad Gable interrupts and tells Maxine to pay no mind to her and Ivy shouldn't be talking to each other, and she and her clowns can keep the Alpha Academy name. Because it was revealed later on in a promo when they were heading to the ring for their main event match against the Wyatt Six, that Chad Gable's new stable with him and the Creed brothers is now being called American Made. Interesting. We'll talk about it, of course, a little bit more when we get to it. But interesting for sure. We have then CM Punk rolling in. Surprisingly, CM Punk looked happy, which I was surprised. So Punk is on the mic and says he'll get to why he's smiling, but he wants to shout out a teammate of who just won a UFC title. Why is he so happy, though, when Punk himself just lost? He was going to do things he didn't do. He hasn't been to Baltimore in over 10 years. And it feeds the ego when 10,000 people start chanting his name. Every time he got knocked down, he gets back up. Some people hate him for not staying down. SummerSlam wasn't a guarantee. He was hurt right after his monumental return, and he was told 9 months. But he's proud because he was actually ready in 5. And then there's Drew McIntyre. was a big bad man. Tough SOB. He heard him. But Drew gloated about it and prayed about it. Told lies about him to feel better about himself. But he's happy because Punk's back. SummerSlam was the start of his road to WrestleMania. And he's going to make his way all the way back to the top. I'm pretty sure, that's still a tease for the WrestleMania match eventually with him and Seth. But he mentions, where would CM Punk be if he stayed down the last time he lost the title? His summer of hate didn't start the way he predicted, but it's still summer. And he says this packed house deserves less Punk talking and more Punk fighting. So he calls out Drew McIntyre for a rematch. Instead, though, out comes Seth Rollins. He looked pissed. With the dark trench coat, he looked angry. Which, by the way, also, if you saw those ref cam videos on TikTok or whatnot, Rollins was cheering for Punk. Was cheering for McIntyre. And just crapping on Punk for sure. Which I loved, actually. I love the fact that, again, they're teasing that they're about to touch, but then they don't. It's going to be a long time still before these two go head-to-head. And, of course, they're about to get the brawl, but then Drew McIntyre interrupted, appeared to the crowd, and it's like, what's all the negativity? Tonight's a night of celebration. He beat Punk, and Seth counted 1, 2, 3. And he thinks he's earned Punk's undivided attention. And then, of course, he pulls out the bracelet again and just rags about it and whatnot, which pisses off Punk, and he goes to chase after Drew McIntyre. Well, as he was leaving, Seth's still in the ring. He turns around and BAM! Bronson Reed, who said he's going to take matters into his own hands, he came out and just laid waste to Seth Rollins. Mounted punches, did some pounces to launch him and across the mat. And then he goes up for a tsunami. But he didn't just hit 1. Not 2. Not 3. Not even 4 or 5. But 6 times. 6 times does he give tsunamis to Seth Rollins. I thought this was badass. Again, Bronson Reed is a guy that I know can be a star. He just hasn't quite found his hallway to get to that yet, if you know what I mean. This could have been him maybe starting to figure that out. We'll have to wait and see, though. But I love that beatdown for sure. I feel, though, that they could be giving Seth a little extra time off. So I think they'll probably have their match maybe a Bad Blood. Would make sense. And originally, Bronson was supposed to face Seth at Elimination Chamber whenever Seth was still champion, but he got hurt. But that's how they were going to be getting Bronson onto the card in his home country. But yeah, Bronson Reed made a statement. Again, this made me think of stuff like Braun Strowman beating down Roman Reigns in the ambulance and a couple other stuff there, but that was insane for sure by Bronson Reed. Adam Pearce is being interviewed and says it's too early for an update on Seth, but obviously doesn't look good for Seth as he may have had some internal bleeding. CM Punk though rolls up and he wants Drew McIntyre. Pearce tells him he personally escorted Drew out of the building and gives him a pat on the shoulder. So Punk's going to hunt down Drew again for another match. We have Authors of Pain taking on the New Day. Match was fine. I've been saying that, again, this Final Testament feud with the New Day. It's okay, but I think it has to have a good payoff. And it sounds like it very well may have happened. Because The whole point is for Karrion Kross to break the friendship between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Well, before Odyssey Jones came into this match, what was I thinking there? Here I go. I lost my train of thought. What was I saying now? Oh yeah, I feel like this Final Testament storyline has to lead with something for real happening with the New Day. I think again it needs to end for the time being, New Day. With Odyssey Jones there though, creates some intrigue because although he helped them win, it looked like that Xavier Woods was a little bit left out, and Kofi Kingston was praising him. So that's interesting there. Again, I don't, what was I gotta go with that? I don't know a heck of a lot about Odyssey Jones. Like I said, I thought he looked great in the ring. And he's basically going to be probably Big O. But I'll be interested to see where this goes. Again, especially if, Xavier Woods or someone does turn heel on the other. It finally led to some type of buzz for the New Day. Because they've been stale like crazy for quite a while. But the New Day, of course, did beat Authors of Pain on a small package. And then we had JD McDonagh cutting a promo about Damian Priest and how his garmless face down of not seeing the train coming down the track and being blinded by his own arrogance. Hyping up for their match in just a little bit. Again, we had that backstage where Kofi introduced Xavier Woods to Odyssey Jones, and Xavier was kind of left out from what it sounds like, unfortunately. So again, could be some possible cracks. We'll have to wait and see. Awesome Truth then took on A-Town Down Under. Again, yes, A-Town Down Under is SmackDown stars, but again, they were doing it because of what happened at the end with A-Town Down Under and Jelly Roll. So I feel like that was kind of set for like an impromptu match, maybe on SmackDown or something, but basically telling them, don't be doing that to guests like that. But A-Town Down Under do win. I keep wondering if they are going to pull a trigger and have Miz turn on R-Truth, because R-Truth keeps costing the Miz things. Or keep ruining things. So they could, never know, but we'll have to wait and see. Braun Breaker in a backstage interview saying everybody around him here loves talking about how long they've had titles. And he's been in WWE for less than 3 years. He's, of course, been a 2-time NXT champion. Now he's won the Intercontinental title. And he wasn't born for just this championship. The championship was born for him. And he basically said that he's not going to be someone to sit back and wait for fighters. Yes, he is champion, but he's going to fight. Which, honestly, if that's his gimmick where, he still, fights, but not, in a way where he's, defensively, he's still aggressive and no different than he was if he was a chaser rather than an actual champion as well. But we'll see what Braun does with the Intercontinental title. I know he has a rematch with Sami next week. 2 out of 3 falls. Braun will probably retain some ways, so we'll see, of course, where that goes. What else we got here? Damian Priest took on JD McDonagh. A nitpick about this match, I thought Damian sold a little too much for JD. Either way, though, I thought this was a great match between the two of them. They looked like they were literally hitting each other. It was crazy. And then, again, credit to JD McDonagh. I feel like when the time comes when he gets exiled from Judgment Day, I feel like he should go face. Because he has had these matches where he's proven he can be excellent, but I feel like he doesn't get appreciated as much for it. And the stuff he sells for, I feel like he will get rewarded for it in the long run, just my opinion. But the match happens, and then match ends in DQ when Finn Balor comes out and attacks, and the rest of them, they attack Damian Priest. Of course, it was Dom and Rhea. I'm sorry, something out. So he's saying it. Dom and Liv in the ring when Rhea came storming out. It looked like they were about to escape, but Rhea was like, not happening. And she got a hold of Liv, and yeah, she was doomed. She basically tossed Liv into a couple posts and whatnot. Again, mixed tag probably at Bash in Berlin. Bad Blood, I can see maybe doing something like Hell in a Cell between Liv and Rhea. They could, based off their history, you never know. But, yeah, just an opinion. And also, again, like I said, because I want Seth Rollins to be able to sell the beatdown he took from Bronson and Reed, I would wait and do that singles match between the two of them at Bad Blood if it was just me. But, who knows? We get a recap of Cody retaining the title and the return of Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. This is when Dakota Kai got attacked by Sonya Deville, and the match turned into Sonya versus Io, which was what it was. Nothing really too special. Then we have Ilya Dragunov chatting with Sami Zayn backstage. Sami thanks him for the pep talk and says he's going to make a fine champion someday. And then Jey Uso rolls up and gives him a pep talk. Sami says this one feels different, but Jey won't take no for an answer. And he's going to get his rematch and win back the title. Yeet! Sami says he already talked to Adam Pearce, and they got a match set for next week, which again is going to be 2 out of 3 falls. And then Jey says they're going to go after Judgment Day and get their tag titles as well. Yeet! So we'll see how that little mission goes for them. Alright. Let's talk about this ending, though. The in-ring debut of the Wyatt Six. And they took on Chad Gable's new stable of him and the Creed brothers, which is called American Made. And I really like it. I love their attire. I love the music. I'm interested. It was good. The big question, of course, is how would the Wyatt Six be when it comes to the ring? After seeing this match, I'm like, I ain't worried at all whatsoever. We had Uncle Howdy sitting outside in Bray Wyatt's rocking chair. Abigail the Witch chilling there, as they call Nikki Cross. We have Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, and Dexter Lumis wrestling this match. Now, if I had to pick a true star for this match, it kind of would have to be Dexter Lumis, if I'm being honest. The new look, the aggressiveness. Like, was he being held back before or something? I don't know why. But he showed me a much more aggressive and athletic side than I saw when he was in NXT. And even when he wouldn't do much, when he had that feud with The Miz when he first came back too. That was a strange one, but, it told a story. I can't diss on it totally, but it was strange. But if there was anyone who stood me most of this match, it was definitely him. I like Joe Gacy. It was good to see Eric Rowan back. And then, again, American Made. Chad Gable and the Creed brothers, I think, are... I don't like the fact that they really have nothing like of a title to put on them right now. But I would give this stable belts, if even possible, if I'm being honest. Because they're great together. I feel like they did, in fact, get over in the loss that they had. But I thought this was incredible. Why I love this match so much is, again, watching it felt like it kind of gave me, like, that little bit of closure. Like, I thought at first, it felt like I was watching the episode of Dynamite where Brody Lee was on right after his death. Even though it wasn't announced as one, this felt like a tribute to Bray Wyatt. And, again, if you were worried about the Wyatt Six transitioning to the ring, look no further, of course, than this match right here. When it's all said and done, how great the athletic ability was for all 6 men in this match. When it's all said and done, I'm not even joking, I am probably, if I would do a top 10 list for my best matches of 2024, you would probably see this there as like number 10 or whatnot. Again, I just really, like, watching it and seeing the whole song to Shatter Yes, shout for Meatball sub, but Shatter as the song really is. It gave me vibes. Like, you always have like that loved one you lost, but occasionally you say, man, I wish he was still around. When I saw this, I was like, Bray, I know you're watching from above, but I really wish that you were still here. Because it was just incredible. Again, if this was the long-term plan for Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt 6, this would have been incredible. This would have been worth the wait, I thought. But, again, unfortunately, didn't happen because of Bray's death almost a year ago, whatnot. But I thought that, again, this was unreal. An unreal ending to Raw. Again, even American Made, I thought they got over in the loss. Because they even looked excellent. Like, I could have taken either one of these teams winning. And I think their value is not going to be hampered or whatnot. But I just really enjoyed that main event. Like I said, that main event alone was the reason why I gave this show an A+. Again, I felt the storytelling was, off the charts. Yes, again, there were a few SmackDown stars, but again, Orton was there because him and Gunther kind of had unfinished business from King of the Ring. So he thinks he should get a shot at Gunther's titles. He technically did not beat Gunther's. Gunther did, in fact, agree. Next week, we're getting Sami Zayn and Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental title. I don't think we have anything really planned for Liv right now. Well, there's Alba Fire and Nyla Dawn, who are technically Raw stars, but they kind of have a thing going with them and Blair Davenport on SmackDown. Where that's going, I have no idea. But, of course, that maybe could lead to something with War Games. There's enough people for, 4-on-4-on-4 or whatever. But yeah, I'm going to cut it here, guys. That is my review of this week's episode. Oh, what am I thinking? See, now I'm starting to get tired. But that's my review of the Raw. Again, I thought it was an incredible show. That Wyatt 6 stuff at the end, of course, to me made this a classic. I gave this show an A+. A+, let's check the live chat. Then I'm going to try to get Bash in Berlin finished for the match card. But what we got here in the live chat, I believe we were at... I pray CM Punk stays healthy so we can get him versus AJ Styles at some point. Sure, that'd be a good match. And again, I do hope Punk does stay healthy. He definitely has been injury prone over the past couple of seasons. What else do we got here? We will get Brock and Gunther. Finally, now that Gunther's world champion. Yeah, we were supposed to get that at last year's WrestleMania. Had those allegations not come out against Brock, but sure, I'll take that. Do the Usos reunite? Gotta tell a story with it, but I think by Survivor Series, yes, they will be reunited. My prediction. That's why I say, why is Judgment Day still a thing? I mean, right now, at least, with this new Judgment Day, I think could be better than the original one. But yeah, like I said, I don't get why they say the thing when Edge won the feud, and the whole point of the feud was for him to stop what he created. But, whatever. Let me see here. Liv is the worst champion of 2024. Really? Again, I know her matches haven't been super great, but again, she's all driven by character. So I don't think she's been the worst. Like, in-ring wise, maybe. But again, she's got the character. Hulk called he wanted the American-made sub-name for the theme. What? I'm not sure what he means there. Robbie says, hey, Mike, I was thinking if her current skin condition doesn't hinder a potential return, I could see Raquel Rodriguez turning heel and reuniting with Liv. Ooh! Because, again, they do see... there is a history as they were former tag champs. I forgot about Raquel. Yeah, that'd be a good one. I give you credit for that one, Robbie. And he also says, do you see Damage Control possibly turning face given their rivalry with Sonya, Deville, and the team? Maybe. Again, like I said, though, my problem, again, is with Damage Control, is that it feels forced. There really is no story to them turning face, or in the fact that it's just two of the dominating stables going at each other. Like, okay, yes, but if that's the case, again, then just book them like one like a pseudo faces. I just don't think there's a reason for Damage Control to be faces right now, if I'm being real. I mean, I know the story was Io saying that Damage Control has changed, like, okay, but now you're kind of going from, like, villains to just heroes. And I'm just like, why should we, want to cheer you on? Besides the fact that we all know you're all awesome in the ring. But storyline-wise, it's like, why should we care? But, just some nitpicks. But that is, I think, my thoughts on Raw. Nothing really else to be said. Thank you guys, of course, to Tyler, Wrestling News 365, and Rob McKenobi for joining me live in the live chat again. I'm surprised I got through this very well. Again, I only got about 4 hours of sleep last night, and I wanted to get this caught up. I did want to do it live, and I think I did a pretty good job. I'm pretty pleased with how this review went. So again, this show gets an A+. One of the best Raws I have personally ever seen, in my opinion. And yeah, we'll see if SmackDown can do good too. Maybe I'll do SmackDown live as well. I don't know. We'll see. Depending on my schedule. But as always, guys, thank you for joining me live here. Make sure you guys leave your thoughts down in the comments section below about what your grade on Raw, what you thought of stuff happening as well. And be sure also, as always, to slap a like on the video and subscribe for more content on my channel. You may follow me on Twitter at the Club of the Man 93. You can also follow me on TikTok and Instagram at the Club of the Man 1993. And until then, guys, I'm checking out. I'll catch you guys all later. And also, do not forget, in order to be superior to the man, you've got to be the man. And for I am the man himself. And that is not just an opinion, my friends. That is a fact of life. Yeah! By the way, I am going to be, hopefully this weekend, purchasing an LA Knight t-shirt. Yeah!